I just want to tell Chris Hansen that he's a cock block.
Picture this, will ya? You've been a true crime streamer for around, 3 years, and you get to attend CrimeCon for the first time. You're clearly very excited.
Woo! Annalise, get it, girl! Woo! CrimeCon 2024! Woo!
CrimeCon is the place where the world of true crime comes together for a weekend to talk about other people's tragedies. Sometimes the people who are involved in the tragedies go there as well. This year, there were about 7,000 to 9,000 people in Nashville at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel. The attendees range from true crime fans to true crime legends like Nancy Grace and Chris Hansen. Now, picture yourself standing in front of the convention center entrance, live streaming to an audience of your own devoted fans, while people are going in and out of the convention center. And as you do, you see one of those legends, Chris Hansen. And why is Chris Hansen a legend? Because he made himself famous by exposing child predators. He hosted a program for years called To Catch a Predator. His entire persona and expertise is built around protecting children from men or women who prey upon them for sex. So here you are streaming to a live audience at CrimeCon, and there's a predator catching Chris Hansen right in front of you. And you've never met Chris Hansen, but you definitely know who he is and what he stands for. And you want to make a big impression on Chris Hansen right in front of your own live video audience. So what's the first thing you think to say to him as he stands 50 feet away from you?
I just want to tell Chris Hansen that he's a cock block. Yes, Chris Hansen! Woo!
Right. The first thing you want to tell a child predator catcher is that he's a cock block. And you think it's hilarious. And so does the friend standing next to you.
I just want to tell Chris Hansen that he's a cock block. Yes, Chris Hansen! Woo!
But let's break this down, shall we? Is it objectively true that Chris Hansen is a cock block? Yes. But culturally, when you tell someone they're a cock block, is that meant to be a compliment or an insult? Culturally, it means that you are the cause of someone else not getting to follow through on their sexual conquest. So it's an insult. There's a negative connotation to it, right? Culturally, it means you were the cause of someone else not getting what they wanted. So, while it may be objectively true that Chris Hansen is a cockblock, saying that to him is meant to be a humorous insult that people are supposed to laugh at. In other words, you're making a joke about Chris Hansen stopping people from achieving their sexual conquest with children. Children, y'all. And you're so tone deaf, so unempathetic toward the damage that sexual abuse has on children, and so thirsty for Chris Hansen's attention, and so thirsty for the approval of your viewing audience that you will bypass all sense of human decency to say on a live stream,
I just want to tell Chris Hansen that he's a cock block.
That you want to tell Chris Hansen that he's a fucking cockblock. So then, after declaring you want to say these words to him, picture walking up close to him with your camera, offering him an alcoholic beverage before noon. It's called high noon, but it is before noon or around noon. Barely getting his attention, not getting his attention, not telling him he's a cockblock, and then skulking away from him. Now, why didn't you say it to him? why didn't you actually tell him he's a cockblock? Is it because you know it's a horrible thing to say? Is it because you know it's a horrible thing to say to a predator catcher? Is it because you know it's a horrible thing to say in front of a bunch of people to a predator catcher at CrimeCon? Is it because you're a recently convicted criminal yourself with 2 protection orders from YouTubers for your predatory online behavior, and you don't want Chris Hansen, the predator catcher, to set his sights on his newest predator to catch? Here's what else I want to know. What if this person actually did walk straight up to Chris Hansen and say, hey, yo, Chris, you're a cockblock? What would he do? Would he laugh? Would he look at her like the sexual deviant she is? Would he give her an interview and boost her YouTube numbers? I guess we'll never know, because she exercises just a bit of self-restraint, or perhaps a bit of cowardice, and never said the words to his face. But here's my final question to anyone who saw this happen live. How the hell do you get past that? How the hell do you hear a true crime YouTuber with a young child call Chris Hansen a cockblock and take anything else she says seriously? I have that question about so many other things she's done and about so many other things that other people on YouTube have done. And most of my answer involves YouTube. Most of my answer to the problem involves YouTube. It's a basic calculation, folks. If it weren't for YouTube, scammers, conspiracy theorists, and sexual deviants would have a much, much harder time finding an audience. YouTube's algorithms sense the fear and outrage contained in certain content and finds the people who are most thirsty for it. Scammers, conspiracy theorists, and sexual deviants, and the creator in question here checks all of those boxes. Make no mistake, has no problem making up sensational lies that harm the people that they are lying upon, which are true crime victims and witnesses, and that are sure to drag the views of those people who are most thirsty and susceptible for that content. And since YouTube makes the most money in that equation, they're only too happy to deliver that audience. And the shameless advertisers who are willing to show ads next to someone who says that Chris Hansen is a cockblock.
I just want to tell Chris Hansen I think he's a cockblock.
Well, shame on them. So congratulations, YouTube. You've made the previously unforgivable very easy to overlook just because the person has a big number next to their name. Yep, I'm calling you out in name, YouTube. You can do whatever you want to my channel or this video as a result of me calling you out. There are many other ways for me to make this fact known. But the true crime community and the viewers deserve to know this. So I hope you won't suppress this video or the future live stream I'm going to be doing about how true crime has become an Alex Jones clone zone. Peace out, everyone.